All right, ladies and gentlemen. Next, we have a real Don Juan, in my opinion. The first time I saw this guy, I was like, "Oh my God, he's wearing a silk scarf. I think I like him. Look at this guy. Yeah. Wow, he's got an interesting style." But he's a major comedian from Athens. All right, he now lives in Madrid. Before he was living in Tenerife, but he's performed in I don't know how many different countries, and he's been on different television shows in all of these countries, mostly small ones like Macedonia and stuff. But it doesn't matter. This is a small room, all right? We're not packing out a huge theater, are we? All right. Okay, you guys ready? Here comes Dzimis. Sabas! Woo!
Thank you all very much for coming. My name is Dimitris, Dzimis Sabas. I come from a very small country in Europe. It's anywhere in between Alaska and Australia, Argentina and Russia. No, Russia no. The country east of Ukraine. Hashtag Russia is not selling a lot. Not lately. Before I start the show, Greeks, I think there are a few Greeks. There is Nikos, my niece Beatrice, my wife somewhere Rita, Lefteris, my brother, my daughter Sofia. Are there any more Greeks in the house? Another one. Because Greeks, we have a problem. I don't know if it happens to you. Before I start history of religion, somehow in the collective imaginarium, I go out, I do these shows in Lasagna, and I meet people. And people say, "Where are you from?" Argentina. Ah, Lionel Messi. Εντάξει. Where are you from? Austria. Ah, Mozart. Ρε μαλάκα Dzimis, where are you from? Greece. Ah, like the yogurt. Αριστότελες, Socrates, Plato. You have to tell me the yogurt, μωρέ μαλάκα. I feel like a minority within Europe, because Greece, we are a minority in Europe. Why? Because we owe money to all the French and German banks. So many people coming here tonight. I thank you very much coming to see a Greek comedian. But if I was in Athens, Greece, I would think most of you are tax inspectors. Because Greeks, we always take our money black. Why? Because we are Greeks. So I had this situation, this is a true story. Okay, this is not comedy, this is not humor, this is a true story. I was having lunch the other day in one of my brother's restaurant. You have to go Dionysos. It's here in Chambéry, super Greek restaurant. The owner is Elias, my brother. And I was having lunch with some guys studying theology. There was a Spanish Catholic, this is a true story. There was a Jewish Sephardi, and there was a guy from Algeria, he's Muslim. And they tell me, "More malaka." I said, "Guys, what are you doing here?" "No, we are studying theology." "Theology, more malaka? What is theology?" "It's the science of religion." Wait. Science of religion is an oxymoron. Oxymoron is when you have contradicting terms within the same sentence. It's like saying an honest politician. It doesn't work. You are either science or religion. You are either a politician or you are honest. You cannot be both. It's like saying, "No, next year we will do the gay pride in Kabul with the Taliban." It doesn't work. It's like saying, no, we are opening a Victoria's Secret shop in the middle of Riyadh. It doesn't work. It's like saying the Iranian nuclear program is opening a job recruitment shop in the middle of Jerusalem. It doesn't work. So I was talking to them and I was saying, "Guys, imagine an alien comes, from another galaxy. But not just an alien, a Greek alien. Not a hostile, violent alien like Predator alien. No, someone nice, like Alf. So imagine a Greek Alf, his name would be Alphakis. So imagine a Greek Alf coming here, to our planet, to understand religion. So we tell them, Alf comes. Remalaka Dzimis, what is this thing about religion? No, wait, let me explain. The first who invented the gods was us, the Greeks. We invented the gods. Why? Because we had to give some legal coverage. We want to invade a country, kill some people. We need a god for the war. Fantastic. We want party, wine, orgies and sex. We bring Dionysos. Why? We need to send a message to someone. We bring Hermes. Because it's always better if you only have to pay one of, corruption, only one politician. Because you pay different gods. And then the Italians came, the Romans, and they took our gods. Why? Because we didn't have the copyright. Because as Greeks, we are the Greek genius. We invent everything, we never register, and they took our gods. So somewhere there, everything was alright. The only god, by the way, in Italy was Berlusconi when he did the Bunga Bunga. Orgies were legal. Why? Because it was Berlusconi. So everything was alright with the different gods. Why? Because we don't have to pay one. Vladimir, no. Like Vladimir, we don't pay you in Russia. We pay different gods. We want more this. And all of a sudden, somehow, someone has this genius idea of inventing the monotheistic religions. Like a monotheistic religion is like a religious dictatorship. So as we go back, we have this guy in Mesopotamia called Abraham. And he said, no, I'm going to invent Yahweh. Yahweh. Malaka, it sounds Arabic. Yahweh. So what is Yahweh? All of a sudden, there is this guy, which is the most interesting guy in religion. There is an angel called Gabriel. Gabriel is the chief, is like a community manager for the angels. So you say, Gabriel comes. Today, if you go to Israel, they all call Mordechai, Shlomo, Avigdor, Leon. And you call this guy 3,000 years ago, Gabriel. Fuck you. Fuck you, it doesn't work. So you have this guy who tells Abraham, you have to kill your son. What? You have to kill your son. Why? It's a sign of faith. If you have faith, kill your son. So this Malakas, Abraham, he was going to kill his son, and all of a sudden, God, Yahweh said, no, stop it. What do you mean stop it? This is a Latin king initiation ritual. What is a mafia ritual? You tell me to kill my son, and then you tell me to stop it. And it was Gabriel. Somehow, 500 years later, this Gabriel doesn't die. He doesn't die. This Jewish invented the anti-aging. This guy, this Gabriel angel, he was a fucking vampire. He doesn't die. Then you say, who was Gabriel? No, the king of the angels. What was he? The Air Force of Paradise. The guy was Tom Cruise in Top Gun. Who was this guy? This guy was Batman. So, okay, who is his father? God. Who is his mother? We don't know. Others know. So tell me, if the guy is half human, half bird, was he born in an egg, or was he born in the Paradise Maternity Clinic Hospital? Because we don't know. All of a sudden, there is this guy called Jesus. But before Jesus, who do you have? The Jews. So the Jews, I don't know if there are any Jews in the house. You are in Egypt. There is this bullshit history of Ramses II and everything, and that the Catholics, the Christians, come with the Old Testament and the New Testament. This is like Harry Potter book. So I don't know how people, nobody saw this as suspiciously suspicious. Testament is when someone either has died or is going to die. So Old Testament, if we didn't kill you there, we are doing the New Testament just to kill you all. So you have this Moses. He brings all the Jews from Egypt. He goes to Sharm el-Sheikh. If you go now to Sharm el-Sheikh, you have all the Russians. You know the sanctions to the oligarchs? Bullshit. The sanctions are only for the poor people, because the Russians with the money went to London, to Paris, to Cyprus, to Athens. They went to Sharm el-Sheikh. So imagine 40,000 Jews going to the beach in Sharm el-Sheikh. They're standing there at the beach. And there is one guy who says, open. Open what? Open the sea. Yeah, but open like like, what, there's a bridge? No, the sea is going to open. And all of a sudden the sea opens. This is not very eco-friendly. Malaga, what happened to the dolphins, to the fish? Just for your religion, you're killing the little fish. So anyway, the guy crosses the Red Sea and he goes to the Sinai. And this is when, things start getting a little bit complicated. So history, the Harry Potter book tells us, no, because the Jews were wandering 40 years in the desert. The Jews were wandering 40 years in the desert. In the 1967 war and 1973 war, the Israelis took the Sinai in 3 days. And you were wandering 40,000 Jews 40 years in the desert, More Malaka. So the guy goes and imagine 40,000 Jews, and all of a sudden he hears a voice. Moses. He hears a voice. It's God talking to him. But how? What's up? What? You heard it in your head? What? And Moses goes up to the mountain, behind the rock, and then they tell you, but wait, Malaka. They tell you that God is everywhere. Why did he tell you to go up to the mountain, behind the rock, and go? No, because this was a private business meeting between Moses and Yahweh. So Moses goes up to the mountain, and all of a sudden, the guy speaks to a tree. He speaks to a tree, but not just a normal tree. The tree was burning. So imagine today, for example, Biden in the White House. Imagine Biden appearing in a press conference. Well, today I spoke to a burning tree. Malaka, they're going to take him to Guantanamo. And we based all our Western civilization on a guy speaking to a burning tree. It wasn't a tree, Moses. You smoked the fucking tree. This is what happened. So all of a sudden the guy, he speaks to the tree. He comes down with the famous 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments, if you put it in today's context, it was the first version of PowerPoint. So the guy had 10 Commandments, well, five, but one side was saying, what you have to do, this is what you have to do. This is what you cannot do. This is what you're allowed, and this is what you have to do. This is what they're doing in Russia, in Iran, in Arabia Saudi. What is not obligatory is forbidden. So somehow it was the first proto-version of autocracy, the religious autocracy. And this guy comes down, he speaks to 40,000 Jews, he says, no, we have to keep walking, Nowadays, I don't know if you've been in the desert, but I've been in the desert many times. It's fantastic. It's something unique. It's like you're connected with life in the desert. If you cross the Red Sea and you go into the Sinai, you walk 1 week and you're in Dubai. You're in Abu Dhabi, where you have all the oligarchs and the Russian escorts and prostitutes. The only thing the Jews had to do was walk straight. As soon as you see the pyramids, turn left. Go to Bethlehem, go to Jerusalem, and stop fucking around with all these Jew things. Anyway, this Gabriel does not die. The bastard is a fucking vampire. 500 years pass, and all of a sudden, you have a Dzimis, an influencer in Nazareth called Jesus. The guy is born, and imagine the scene. Imagine the scene today. So imagine, there is a lady called Maria. Maria is in her home, obviously. In Nazareth, 2,000 years ago, everything was ground floor. She's in her kitchen doing stuff. 10:30 at night, there is a guy flying in the window. The guy flying in the window. Can you imagine Maria's reaction? It was like Amsterdam. I don't know if you've been to Amsterdam. Amsterdam, you see everything inside in the houses. I don't know whether they are exhibitionists or voyeurs, but you see everything inside. She's giving him a blowjob, they're doing an orgy. So Maria is there doing the laundry, and this bird, Batman, appears. Maria. Today's name, in Israel is Mordechai, Shlomo, Victor. Maria. So the guy says, Maria, what's going on with your life? I'm here, I am married. You're married? With who? My husband's name is Joseph. Joseph? 2,000 years ago, Joseph, where is he? No, he's working. Oh, yeah. I wanted to tell you that you're pregnant. What is this, artificial insemination? What do you mean you're pregnant? No, it's God coming here, you're pregnant. So, you're married? Yes. And you're a virgin? Yes. Married and virgin. Nah. Nah. For example, I can understand extra virgin, you know, like we have in Greece, oil, extra virgin. Extra virgin, you don't do anal sex. You don't give blowjobs in squares here in Plaza Olavide. I don't know. Extra virgin, like, you are a virgin. So you can, you know, try to project yourself. Joseph's come back from work. Yashu Maria, hello, in Greek, Yashu. Yashu Maria, how are you? I'm okay, darling, how are you? Look, we have to talk. Joseph. Maria, what happened? I'm pregnant. Joseph was watching YouPorn for the last 25 years. And Maria is pregnant. And the guy understands it. What are you telling him? The guy understands. No, Rebecca, it doesn't work like this. And then you say that Christianity was invented by a Jew, which is crazy. It's like communism. It was invented by a Jew, Karl Marx. So Karl Marx invents communism, then communism kicks out the Jews from Russia and they send them back to Palestine. So a Jew invents Christianity, and you know, they say 2,000 years of history. 2,000 years of history. And the guy only had 12 followers. Because they asked me, no, Dzimis, how many followers do you have? I don't know, 1,000. You're an asshole. It's Malakas, you're nothing. Lefteris, my brother. Lefteri, how many? 23,000. Malaka, you're an influencer. Jesus created this bordello pandemonium with only 12 followers. This is what happened with religion. Somehow, the guy ends up in a cross. Nobody knows why. So, you know, try to visualize. The guy's in a cross. It's painful when they put a nail. Imagine you go to Leroy Merlin and they put a nail in your hand. It's painful. And when the guy's in the cross, he goes, Father, why have you forgotten me? What is this? A Star Wars thing like, Jesus, I am your father. What is this? Of course he forgot you. And then the guy says, no, Father, forget them. They don't know what they do. You know what the translation 2,000 years later is? Father, these guys are assholes. They don't know what they're doing. So Jesus dies. 500 years later, again this guy appears. Gabriel, the Batman. He said the angel, the community manager of the angels. And there is one guy called Muhammad. Muhammad is 40 years old. He's in the desert. 2:30 in the morning. In the desert alone with the fire. And all of a sudden, there is this Gabriel appearing at 2:30 in the morning out of nowhere. Hello, Muhammad. I bring you the word of Allah. So hang on. The first guy, you went to Moses. You had a message for Moses. Yes. Then you go to Jesus, and you had another message for Jesus. Yes. And now you go to Muhammad, and you have another message for Muhammad. Yes. You're an American lobbyist. What you're doing is fucking up the world. This is what you're doing. You need coverage. Political coverage, you know, like the Americans. No, we're going to invade Iraq. What do we need? Political coverage. We're going to invade Afghanistan. What do we need? Political coverage. Who do we have? The United Nations. But then it didn't exist. So they had the word of God. The word of God. So this Muhammad comes and says, okay, yes, I'm going to use the word of God. And all these guys, these influencers, Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, were the first influencers. And all of us have been killing ourselves for the last 2,000 years for guys who were talking to God. So imagine today, for example, try to put things in context. Imagine Biden appears in the lawn of the White House. Well, American people, God spoke to me last night. You know what's going to happen? They're going to close him in a mental institution. Mm-hmm. This is what's going to happen. Imagine Vladimir appears in the Kremlin. Привет, как дела? God spoke. Well, actually, Vladimir thinks God spoke to him. There is one of the greatest American authors, Henry David Thoreau. He's actually the father of stand-up comedy, so that you know, okay? Because you didn't know, but now you know. Why? Because as Greeks, we are here to civilize you. You know that the gods invented the Greeks to civilize the world, but then we forgot to civilize ourselves. So Henry David Thoreau, in end of the 19th century, one of his best lines is, God invented the war so that Americans could learn geography. This is a true story. This is a true story. But my Dzimis version of it is that God invented war so that Vladimir gives us his version of geography with Ukraine. This is what happens. So imagine Biden in the White House. I spoke to God, God spoke to me. Imagine you go for a job interview. I don't know, whoever, each one of you. You go here to whatever, I don't know, the metro of Madrid. Bueno, y usted aquí, ¿qué tal? Bueno, pues he venido a buscar trabajo y tal. De Galicia. I'm from Galicia and everything. Any references? Yeah, speak to God. You think you're gonna get the job? They're gonna close you in a mental institution. Imagine Biden says, no, I spoke to a burning tree in the lawn of the White House. You spoke to a burning tree in the lawn of the White House. You know what they're gonna do? The Secret Service. They're gonna take off all the trees in the lawn of the White House just in case Trump comes back. Because Trump does speak to God. So this is the situation. It's very difficult for me to do a 1 hour show in 20 minutes because if you thought that Dzimis, even though I am the Greek genius, I was going to reduce 3,000 years of religious history in 20 minutes, Malaga, you're dreaming. It's like, you are the type of people who still believe that either your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your wife, or your husband doesn't have a Tinder account. Of course they have. Of course they have a Tinder account. The other day I was doing a show here in Malasaña, fantastic club, Conejo Blanco. I finished the show and I was walking back home and all of a sudden I get a match. I get a match in Tinder. Look, it was my wife Rita, she's sitting there. My wife Rita, my match on Tinder. You know what she told me? Can you bring some bread on your way home? I had to block her. I had to block my wife. So this is what religion does to us. So to finish, because Jimmy's videos, there are 200 of them on the social media, as Greeks, we are philosophers of life. And comedians, my fellow comedians, big round of applause for Dan, for Gaton, and for Roberts. Please go to stand-up comedy, whether it's English, Spanish, Mozambique, or whatever. I just remember now. You know this thing with the angels? The angels were coming dressed in white. They were coming dressed in white. No Black Lives Matters. So these angels was the first version of the Ku Klux Klan. No Black Lives Matters. And what sex were they? No, male. No, they didn't have sex. They didn't have sex. Today, you have a gender, whatever, and then you have an orientation. And the angels didn't have sex. What are you telling me, Norman? What are you telling me? So these guys were what? They were hermaphrodites. So to finish on a philosophical point, because today's comedians, we are not just comedians, we are philosophers, modern day philosophers. We're not here to make you laugh. We're here to try and open your eyes, make you think a little bit. And my show on religion finishes with one question. The problem is not religion, and I trust and admire people who have faith. I don't have faith. Why? Because I watch you porn, so I don't have faith. But sometimes I watch you porn when my wife is not there. The problem is not religion or politics. The problem is the political use of religion and the religious use of politics. Thank you very much. Dzimis, the Greek genius.